Hello, if you've watched one of my videos, thank you and welcome back. Today I'm sharing the logic that changed my minimalism, and that was that Eve had choices. And it wasn't that she couldn't have one of her choices, it was that she shouldn't have. And now mothers are being faced with dangling apples, right? Because Eve ate from the wrong apple tree everywhere. And it's not that we can't have these apples, it's that maybe we shouldn't. And how do we know the difference between the things that we shouldn't have and the things that will bring us life? And that is to simply look at hindsight bias as our friends. What in our past has given us life and what has made us feel like it's being taken away? And the truth is, mothers have a bigger responsibility than everyone else, because mothers who have kids in the home have a bigger responsibility than everybody else. And maybe mothers who have kids that are older might say different, but my point is that we have to educate, feed, entertain, make sure that they get friends and that their friends are treating them well and that they're not being bullied. And then we have to give them shelter, right? And our shelters are what's causing a lot of our disdain, right? Maybe that's not the right word, but last night I was like, wait, why is it that the thing that's supposed to bring me peace is the thing that's consistently making me crazy? My home is supposed to be a haven, right? And like, we're blaming moms for the children not being educated enough and not being, not having as many friends as they should, and I don't know who they are. I don't know who's blaming us, but maybe it's the in-laws. Maybe it's our kids. Maybe they're like, hey mom, you need to do this and you need to send me here and you need to, and you're kind of holding me back from being the person that I need to be. And the truth is, we are not responsible for all of this. And yet somehow it's been handed over. Amazon has told us, hey, you're responsible, so consume the things that will make your life better, right? But the truth is, reeling it in and consuming less will actually let us see a more clear picture of what will bring our family's life. And sometimes it's nothing. Sometimes it's going outside and walking and looking at birds and looking at little flowers. And you know why this is the right thing to do? Because it connects us back to nature, which I believe that since it's created by God, God has to be there. And then it reconnects us to the Holy Spirit, right? And the Holy Spirit, it was supposed to be our guide all along, but now the internet is full of other people and other voices. And, it's like, which is really healthy? Is it raw milk? Or is raw milk gonna kill you? And the truth is, we're all dying. And in my last video, I said that I had a mark on my face that was really scary. I thought I had nodular melanoma because, I looked it up and it fit the criterion. And so I was freaking out because I have a little baby and the thought of leaving her was gonna it was killing me, literally, right? And after the doctor said, hey, you're fine, that doesn't look like nodular melanoma, just keep an eye on, your marks and great job coming in, whatever, right? I was thinking, wait, if it's not nodular melanoma, maybe it's lymphoma, right? And so I went and I looked at all the criterion for lymphoma. Anyways, long story short is sometimes having access to things isn't necessarily the best thing. And I know that because I had an epiphany about the washing machine recently. Wasn't the washing machine supposed to make our lives better? Yes, but the truth is, it made us think that we could have more stuff. And so, yes, we can throw it all in and wash it and then go and do other things and then forget about it and then need to wash it again. So it's actually draining more resources. It's actually making us feel like we can move faster. In turn, our nervous systems are thinking that there are things that are going to hurt us all around because we're moving too quickly, right? Maybe the washboard was actually a way that we could move our bodies and use our hands to connect with our clothes. We are so disconnected with our clothes, we don't even know what's sitting in the closet, and yet we're going to the dryer to reach for things that we actually wear, that we actually need, right? So if you're looking to declutter today, do it while you're doing the laundry. Instead of going to get the stuff from the dryer and throwing it on the bed, go to your drawers and grab everything that's at the bottom of your drawer and bag it up or box it up. If you see something that you just wore that you absolutely cannot live without, okay, pull it out, right? But today I'm going to share some ways to consume better, or to consume less. Yes, consume less. And number 3 is going to be to have vocation. The women that are working and telling you that they're happier are likely happier because they're doing something that is important to them, that is beneficial to them, right? The women that are staying home and saying that they're happier are likely doing something that's important to them. And the truth is, we all need to do what our spirit is telling us to do. I used to work, I was working 14 to 16 hours a day and I was getting really sick. I had, what is the inner ear thing called? I know, I'm drawing a blank real quick, but I had vertigo for almost a year after my son was born. And I remember thinking, this can't possibly be the best way that I am living. My dad died and my whole entire life changed. I saw death as something that was so distant from me and yet so close. It was looming. I didn't know that he had cancer because we were estranged at the time. And that really changed the way that I saw my life. And instead of wanting more, because at the time I wanted to be a real estate agent so I could earn more money and buy a home, I had these 2 little kids sitting at home with a nanny, and my son was kind of disconnected to me. When I would get home, he wouldn't really pay me any attention. And not that that's right or wrong. Well, I don't know. I guess there could be research telling me different, that, my son was disconnected to me for more reasons that I understood at the time. I was getting sick and I missed my kids. And what did I want more? At the time, I wanted money because everything around me was saying, hey, you could actually make more money and look and feel more successful, and maybe even, be with your kids a little more because you'll work for yourself. But there was a cost to that. And that was that I had to go and back to school. I had just finished my degree with 2 little kids at home, working a lot of hours a day, and there was going to be more that I would have to add to my plate. And not that becoming a real estate agent would have been a bad idea at the time. It's just that at the time, I think what my body was screaming for was less. Fast forward many years later, I'm a stay-at-home, work-from-home mom. I only work a couple of hours every single morning. If you're curious about what I do, I did a video about it and you can go and watch it. I'll link it below, but stay here with me because I'm gonna tell you how I changed from a consumption mindset, doing more, educating myself more, gathering more, attaining more, to the mindset that what we really need is shelter, food, water, connection, health, community. The real basics of life will tell you that everything in the world is too much for the nervous system of the mother and the child. And what they're trying to sell us is that we will have more time. But time to do what is the question, right? What did the washing machine give us time to do? To go and look for used clothes online? To go and look for new clothes online? What were we supposed to be doing here all along? And I think the answer inside is we were supposed to be present with whatever we were doing. And presence has left the building because of distraction. Plastic toy in the corner. Mom is FaceTiming me and the school principal is emailing me. I don't know. My kids don't go to school. Does the school principal email people? Yeah, we're a part of a school and we're homeschoolers, but I get emails all the time telling me, hey, we need this from your kids. We need this from you. Your kids have to do this testing on this date. And that alone is an assault to my nervous system, because in my mind I'm saying, wait, we haven't even started this. I want my kids to read poetry and you're telling me that we need to do more math? Yeah, this is the world that we live in. So how do we get away from it? And so number 3 is vocation, vocation, vocation. Whatever is important to you is important to your home. If you love sourdough and you want to start giving away or selling your starter, teaching classes, if you want to do ESL online, if you want to have a worm composting factory in your backyard, I will tell you that you can educate your children, you can feed your children based on the money that you earn, and you might even start to feed them better food because you'll want to put that into your worm bin, right? Vocation. Every book that I've read, the mom always did like sewing or something, and then she would go and like trade it. I don't know, maybe this is just one book that I read, but mothers have always had vocation. And if you think that this is wrong, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section and tell me if you think moms should work. And I will tell you that I don't have a lot of extra time to work, but anything that I do, if I'm making bread, I'm making 2 loaves to give to the neighbor. That to me is vocation. Being generous, being the generous part of your home isn't just giving money to the church. It's feeding the single mom down the street because your husband, brought you home some extra bread flour or something, or you picked some extra ingredients up at the store and you are feeling like you want to vocate. In my opinion, vocation doesn't always come with a monetary return, because monetary is also something that we made up, right? We used to trade goods, and in some cultures they still do that. In some communities, I noticed that bartering is kind of up and coming, right? You can give back to your home by saying, hey, I made an extra something, will you trade it for eggs, right? Vocation. And yes, I can vocate at different times of the month, different times of the year, different seasons, literally in the year, and different seasons in my home, or in my body, because women are on a seasonal rhythm every month. And so that would be to vocate. Number 2 is gonna be to consume better. This one might also not make sense to some people. The pants that I'm living in, I wear almost every single day. I do wear them every single day. I rotate between 3 other pairs of pants. I have a skirt, a pair of Levi jeans, and then I have 2 Brandwin pairs of pants. And the reason I can wear these pants is because they are self-cleaning. Wool has fibers, and when you leave the fibers, they actually rub against each other and clean themselves. And I can attest to this, because if I ever have a weird smell on my pants and I hang them up to air out, the smell disappears. Okay, so when you have $100 and you can only buy one thing, you're naturally gonna have less. And not that less is the easier way. I'm always trying to protect these pants from my kids that have crumbs on their hands or chocolate on their mouth, right? Like, I'm always nervous that these pants are going to be destroyed. I'm always waiting at the dryer for my favorite shirt, because I only have a few shirts, right? This isn't necessarily the easier way, but if you want less stuff, it is the way, or a way. So number 2 is just to buy better. If you're buying better, I only have 2 pairs of shoes because I could only afford 2 pairs of shoes because I bought the Keen walking shoes. They were $100. They're the ones that I wanted, right? Okay, so number 1 way to consume less is to be generous. When you are exerting your energy towards generosity, you have less energy to consume. When you are picking up trash at your local favorite nature place, you naturally have less energy to consume. When you are being generous to your children and spending time with them and covering them up when they're cold, you naturally have less energy to consume. When you are being generous to the single mom down the street who you made an extra bread loaf for, you have to connect with her, you have to contact her, you have to get her address, you naturally have less energy to consume. Decluttering isn't the problem, consumption is. And I will come back and I will share more about the epiphany that I had about Eve eating the apple that she shouldn't have, not necessarily that she couldn't have. And now we're being offered too many apples, right? And our nervous systems are paying the price. I hope this video was helpful. In my last video, I mentioned that I was nervous about dying, and memento mori means remember death. And I heard this from a couple of different people, John Mark Comer being one of them. And he says that, I forget who the people are that live in like southern China, like in the Himalayas. But anyways, he says that monks, that they sit there and they have a scroll on their desk as they work and write, and it says memento mori on it, and it's remember death. And maybe it's the Holy Spirit telling me, hey, let these things go, because the goal is to be present in your life, because that's all you have is the moment that you're present in. You don't know what's coming next. And yes, cancer is looming over my head, because both of my parents passed away from cancer. I had a little girl die from trisomy 18. And so I am here to remind other mothers that we don't have tomorrow. We only have today, and we only have this present moment. So why let clutter consistently consume us? Why consume things that are just gonna cause clutter? And instead, consume what gives life and what brings life, and let go of what's taking it away. If you need to earn some extra money to consume the good things, right? I had to consume these pants in order to get outside with my family and pick up trash, or in order to go anywhere. I have a job. I have a few jobs that you can do. I'm going to leave the links to the 2 videos that I mentioned below about how we turn our trash into treasure. It's called worm castings, and people buy these worm castings for their garden. There's someone in a town near me who sells 2 pounds of worm castings for $20. I know this because I read an article about him in a local newspaper. 2 pounds of worm castings for $20. 2 pounds of trash, what used to be trash, and a worm recycled for $20. How many pairs of pants could you buy if you were just able to? My family makes a lot of trash. We absolutely love food. And so I decided to have a worm farm, but not because I knew I was going to sell it, because I wanted to stop sending so much trash to a landfill. And guess what? I stumbled upon treasure. I didn't know it at the time. I was just doing it because I was having eco-anxiety, meaning I worried about the planet and what was going to happen to it when my kids were older. And this is something that I try not to put onto my kids, but I tell them, hey, don't buy a 3D printer, because you're just gonna put more plastic into the world. And guess what my 11-year-old said, or my 12-year-old? He said, I don't care, Mom. So just because I'm eco-conscious, just because I'm a minimalist, doesn't mean that my family wants to do this. But hey, this vocation that I have, I'm passionate about. I love teaching ESL online. I love waking up early and connecting with these kids. I have lots of things that I want to do, and that's something I'm working on. So minimalism is the standard by which you get to set. I hope this video was helpful. This week, let's consume less. Let's be creative in the way that we vocate. Let's bring life into our homes and onto the planet, right? Start a garden, help the mom down the street, sell your seeds. I know you can do this. Thank you for watching. Bye.